My girlfriend of 6 months has changed her behavior recently, and I want to leave. So I met her earlier this year. We were fast friends within a month of meeting and dating after a month, official for 6 months or so. Met her on a night out with some friends. We live separately, but she spends a lot of time at my house as it's nearer to where she works. Our relationship started really nicely. I felt like we just got on really well, and she was very supportive of me as well. But recently she's been quite pushy about me making changes to my lifestyle, and seems angry and disappointed with the results. The two big ones are my work and what I wear. As for my work, I work at the same store I've worked at since I was 16. It's just an easy job, pays my bills, and I know how to do everything there. I'm basically a manager without the responsibility of actually being a manager, as I don't want that level of responsibility for no extra pay. I also make money via stocks and cryptocurrencies, so I don't struggle for money. As for what I like to wear, I have many jumpers and t-shirts of an emo band my friends and I loved when we were young. I genuinely have like 50 or so that I wear a lot because it makes me happy, and doesn't hurt anyone either. I admit I have a bit of a problem with anxiety. Familiarity helps me with it. Some family thinks I might have OCD, but I've never been diagnosed. My girlfriend a few weeks ago expressed frustration with my clothes, saying I need to grow up and get new ones. She spends a lot of money to get whatever clothes are in fashion. I don't have a problem with that as it's her money to spend and she isn't hurting anyone. But I don't know why she has a problem with my clothes. The argument was big but resolved, and we went shopping and bought me some new clothes. They are actually quite nice, and I like wearing them too. A few days later, I was wearing a band t-shirt again, because the new clothes were in the wash, and she was really angry about it. I explained the new clothes were in the wash, and it wasn't decided that I'd completely stop wearing the band stuff. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day. The next day she had cooled off and explained that she thinks new clothes will help me grow as a person. We talked a long time, and I eventually agreed to get rid of the band clothes. While I was packing them up I started crying, and she called me stupid, and I asked her to leave. She came back a few hours later, and we made up. I packed the boxes into my car and told her I was gonna donate them. She was really pleased and said I was making the right choice getting rid of them. I didn't donate them. I took them to work and I'm keeping them there until further notice. My boss was confused but understanding. I got back home, and she'd ordered my lots of new clothes. She told me she understands it was upsetting, but I'd be better off for it. That night a few hours later she wanted to talk about my work and why I'm not a manager. I explained to her that I don't want to be. She's been distant and only talks about how I should ask to be a manager. I've explained why I don't want to be, and that I wouldn't even be paid more, nor is there a need for it at the store. She just keeps saying that I need to fight for a pay rise as well so I can treat us to nice things. I told her that isn't how it works, and that I make money in other ways, and that she has her own money too, so it shouldn't matter. She shouted at me that I'm useless and stormed out. My boss also told me she called the store and asked him why I'm not a manager. After being upset and feeling useless for a few hours I decided that I don't want to be with her. I realized I don't see my friends as much as I used to because she likes to spend all our free time just us. I just don't feel happy with her anymore and feel like she actually acted differently when we started out just to get close to me. She even said she loved all the band stuff when I first showed her. I think she may be right that new clothes might help me a bit. I genuinely appreciate that, and like how I look in some of the clothes we bought. But I also liked how I looked in the band stuff, and still think it wasn't over the top. I'd normally just wear jeans and a t-shirt or jumper anyway. I don't think it's as ridiculous as she said it was. I just thought of it as a wearable collection. People collect weirder things. As well as this, I really don't like that I lied to her about donating the band stuff. It felt horrible and dishonest. My boss and colleagues could tell something was off when I took the boxes into work. I try to be honest as I don't want to upset people. My GF of 6 months has become controlling and angry at me and made me get rid of some clothes that are special to me, is also trying to get me to become a manager at my work, even called my boss to ask about it. I've decided I want to leave her, but I'm scared to because she can be manipulative and angry. Anyway, I want to break up with her, but I know it's gonna be difficult. She's good at talking me into stuff, but my mind is made up 100% on this. I'm still not sure when or how to do it though. I'm feeling really anxious about it. Wondering if you guys can give me some advice or help. How can I be assertive about wanting to break up and not have her talk me out of it? Now for the top comments. Yes, I think you are right to break up with her. She crossed all sorts of lines, IMO. It's fine that she made some suggestions on clothing, and even that she expressed that she preferred that while in public. But asking you to get rid of them altogether? Or to not wear it while lounging around the house, or at the gym, or doing yard work type of thing? That's crossing the line into controlling. It's okay for her to ask about your position at work. But calling your boss? That's a major line she crossed there. That's completely unacceptable. She was treating you like a child. That's highly disrespectful. It takes two people to decide to be in a relationship. It takes one to decide to break up. When you go to have the conversation, just remember that you aren't asking for her permission or for her to agree, you are simply informing her of your decision. Personally, I'm not a fan of the in public advice unless you feel she may be violent. Just get together with her when you can, inform her of your decision, give her a few minutes, maybe 10 or 20, to ask questions as needed, and then cut it off. The whole conversation need not last more than 20 minutes. Next comment. I think your response to all of this was completely reasonable. You opened yourself up to her suggestions and to trying new things, and you kept your boundaries about not wanting to enter a management position at your store. I think you have a healthy viewpoint on yourself, your life, and what makes you happy. The fact that she called your work to complain without telling you is a major red flag. When you end things, I would just suggest that you stay focused on the fact that you were willing to change and try new things, while she was hardline and disrespectful of your choices. Someone who really cares about you would behave more like you did, seeking compromise. It is going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. If she becomes angry, ask her to leave or leave the situation yourself, but don't waver on the fact that the relationship is over. I would strongly suggest going no contact after the breakup, so that she cannot manipulate you out of your decision. Next comment. Okay, so she sounds awful, and you're absolutely right to get rid of her. That said, I've done a quick skim of the comments and I haven't seen this addressed. As you get older, you're going to find it more and more difficult to find a partner who is content with you working the same job that you had at 16, with no intention to advance in your career in any way. Even if you have income from investments, that's not as reliable of an income as most people prefer. This is an opportunity for you to think about what you want out of your future when it comes to work, and when it comes to your relationships. If you see a future that involves something like marriage and kids, you may want to consider how you can demonstrate ambition, growth, and financial security, whether that's through work or other means, and again, you'll need to be mindful that people on this path generally do look at work trajectory when deciding on a long-term partner. Alternatively, if you see yourself maintaining your current lifestyle indefinitely or permanently, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that decision, that's something you should be more upfront about with future partners so as not to waste time with someone who's looking for the other type of relationship. There does tend to be an implicit understanding in dating that things will grow towards a long-term relationship, so this is something you'll unfortunately need to be extra vocal about. Next comment. The best therapist I've ever had told me, act your boundaries, don't explain them as advice to stop being talked out of ending things with someone. I struggle with it sometimes, but used to not be able to accomplish it at all. It helps me to really look at the amount of information I give someone that I let talk me out of things often. And I'm not happy in this relationship is all the reason really needed to break up with someone. ETA, LOL. Of course I forgot the thing I struggle with the most in this issue, ending the conversation. You aren't obligated to sit there until she's done with you, just you're breaking up. That's how I end up getting talked out of it usually. I forget I can end it. Next comment. It seems like you've behaved perfectly reasonably, and her meddling has crossed into inappropriately controlling behavior. I'm afraid there isn't an easy and decent way to end the relationship. After 6 months, you should end it in person unless you have reason to think she'll be violent. I'd suggest meeting her wherever she lives and delivering the news there. It gives her a chance to be upset and recover privately, without any public embarrassment. Absolutely don't end things at your place. Figure out what you're going to say in advance, keeping it to a few sentences. Be kind but firm. Give her a very brief explanation, focused on you, while avoiding assigning any blame. Once you've said your piece, which shouldn't take more than a minute, get up and leave. No matter what she says, don't drawn into a debate. You don't need to negotiate a breakup. Oh, and if you have any important stuff at her place, get it back before the breakup. If you have any of her stuff, bring it with you to the breakup in a container that isn't immediately obvious. Next comment. I'm sorry you're in this situation. She sounds like she's basically bullying you at this point, and regardless of her intentions, she is 100% wrong in how she's going about this. The good news is, she doesn't actually live with you. So if you're afraid of having a face-to-face discussion about this, just box up everything of hers that may be at your place. Send her a text saying something like, "Hey, look, we have had some good times, but at this point I don't actually see us being long-term, and this relationship has run its course. I wish you all the best, and hope after we've had some time apart moving on, we can be friends sometime in the future. But for now, I need to take some time to heal, and I'm not going to be discussing this with you. I have a box of your things which I'll put outside for you to pick up ASAP, but otherwise I wish you all the best." You don't need to talk to her about this, you don't need to convince her, or give her a second chance or fight for the relationship, etc. You can tell her you're done and that's it. If she demands you to explain, just repeat, "I don't want to discuss this." Block her number and on social media, etc. ASAP everywhere, so she can't wear you down. If you really want to do it in person, do it in public. Bring along that box packed with her stuff, so you can hand it over right there. Ask a friend to be there with you, and have them agree to back you up and help shut the conversation down if she starts trying to push back on the breakup so that she can't bully you into staying with her. Block her everywhere. Seriously, don't be afraid to ask a trusted friend to be your heavy. You're in an abusive relationship, and you deserve support just as anyone else does. I am sure you have a friend or two who love you, and would be happy to have your back in that situation. Hell, if you're in Minneapolis, Paul, and don't think you have a friend you can call on, and I will be your backup. And honestly, you sound like a very nice dude to hang out with and have as a friend, so I'll say this to you that I would to a friend. I think at your age, you're unlikely to find a woman at the same age as you who's actually going to be happy to commit long-term to a man who sounds like he's stuck living at the same level as 17 years old does, without the ambition or drive to improve their life. You have found your comfort zone and you're sticking within it, which is absolutely fine and entirely your right, but you will find as you get older it's going to come with some realities in respect to finding a long-term partner. So if you're comfortable the way you are, make that really clear when you're starting to date someone so that they know you're not a project, and you're not looking to change your life. It may help avoiding this kind of situation. And if you realize at some point you're no longer happy in your comfort zone, I recommend you invest in therapy. It will really help you find the balance that suits you instead of feeling overwhelmed at all the options of change and just staying stuck. Next comment. Yes, I think she is trying to encourage you to have some higher aspirations for life, such staying at the same job in the same position since you are 16. You are not evolving and just stuck in your comfort zone. I agree with her. I think she loves you, but for her to be able to see a future with you, you need to have some more aspirations to evolve and grow. I think also the clothes are part of the loop you're stuck in. Take on life, take new responsibilities, and grow your career instead of wasting away in the same place forever and ever. No woman wants to marry and stay with a man long term that is scared of growing and evolving. I think she was a bit insensitive and impatient with her reaction to you crying, so she can improve on her emotional support. But I encourage you not to run away from this. I think this woman can help you to become a man. Case you seem stuck in your teenage years and you need to come back to the here and now. Maybe some therapy would be in place for you to gain further self-awareness.